right, Shalom. Want to start off by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to say Shalom to the elect scattered across the four corners of the earth, and Shalom to the apostles and elders from Great Millstone, who I've been learning off of, and it has taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to you, brothers, pushing the word and the truth in all sincerity and risking your lives to do so in freedoms. And this is your brother Tribe of Judah Awakens 144 back again with another quick impromptu video. And we're here, as the elders and apostles always say in these last, few days, we are here. Jacob's trouble is here. And right now on the RT News article I have pulled up on the screen, it reads, U.S. regulators want the crypto out of cryptocurrency because that will help them use it to control your every move. Okay, so we're just going to read this article. This video is not going to be too long. We're going to get straight to the point, hit a couple of scriptures and be done with it. All right. So it says here, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has demanded more authority over trading, lending, and selling cryptocurrency, unable in its jealous rage to grasp that crypto exists because it's a safe haven from a venal banking system. Goes on to say, SEC Chair Gary Gensler cited investor protection as the reason the commission should have Cardi Blanchie to take the crypto out of cryptocurrency. In a speech to fellow finance bigwigs on Tuesday, describing the sector as like the Wild West, as he urged Congress to rein in it. All right. Goes on to say, but Gensler, a former Goldman Sachs partner and later advisor to the U.S. Treasury, either knows nothing about the industry in which he has worked for most of his life, or is more likely playing dumb. If anything, it's the Wild West casino capitalism of investment banking that has wrecked the U.S. economy repeatedly and seems poised to do so again. So they already know, what's coming down the line. All right. Now, it goes on to say here, cryptocurrencies throw a wrench into that machine by allowing Americans to stash their assets outside the rigged financial system in a way that's more portable than gold or traditional hedges. And the old system has nothing to offer the customer to lure them back. Clearly, crypto's got to go. And this is what's heading, because you got to, if you don't understand how the money system works, okay, basically you have the Federal Reserve. Now, there's a lot of videos explaining this, but I'm just going to give y'all a little brief synopsis on how our money system works. So you have the Federal Reserve note, which dishes out notes. Now, in the 1920s, during the Great Depression, the banking family came in and they wanted to figure out a way on how to, my grandparents used to always tell me and my siblings growing up, the best thing you can ever have on somebody is leverage, because when you have leverage, you basically win all the time because you outdoing that person. And this is the same mentality that Esau Edom has, because he has the leverage over Jake. OK, and what do I mean by leverage? Back in the 1920s, during the Great Depression, the banking family, your Rothschilds, Bilderbergs, all of those cats, right? What they ended up doing was they needed to figure out how to gain leverage over the American people. So what did they do? They created a false flag. OK, and at that time, a lot of the American people were carrying bars of gold and silver. So what the elites ended up doing was they brought in the Federal Note Reserve as a means to take all the gold and the silver away, because gold and silver is what backs your economy. OK, and what they ended up doing was they took all the gold and silver off the consumers, and then they ended up what's the word I'm looking for? They ended up let's see, how can I say this? They ended up in a friendly matter, to so to say, okay, by making the consumers want to open up bank accounts, to open up actual accounts. And then in return, they'll take the gold and the silver from them, and then they'll give them notes. They'll give them what you guys have today, Federal Reserve notes. OK, when you take a dollar bill and you look on the back of it, it'll tell you it's Federal Reserve. All right. Now, fast forward today, what they're saying is when you had this whole cryptocurrency mainly start with Bitcoin a few years ago. Right. What ended up happening was it became a blockchain to where basically you can go, build up digital currency. And it's basically it can't be traced. OK, it can't be tracked or traced, not by federal government because it's not regulated and so forth. And now what they wanted to do, they wanted to gain control of it, because once they can gain control of it, all right, all bets are off. They can pretty much control society, much like how they're controlling society now, but they're losing their power to do so. And this is the reason why you have the so-called what we're going through now on a global stage. I got to be careful how I use my words here so this video don't get pulled down. OK, and then you also have, the dirty waters. OK, everybody, there's a certain percentage of global population in every country that has to drink the dirty water in order to be accepted into society again. OK, we know what that's about. And what is that leading to at the end of the day? OK, we're going to get that. I don't want to give it away. All right. But it says here, after all, it's not like the U.S. central bank or its financial regulators like the SEC have done a great or even satisfactory job when it comes to running a functional system. Regulators utterly fail to protect consumers, leaving their pensions to be plundered by asset managers and their houses to be foreclosed on by robo-signing fraudsters. And the Federal Reserve itself, neither federal nor these days much of a reserve, can't stop printing money at full speed, or the whole house of cards will collapse. The U.S. is upwards of $28.4 trillion in debt. And when one takes into an account the murky global derivatives markets, whose risk is largely concentrated in the U.S., the figure could be orders of magnitude higher. All right. Now, if we jump down, get straight to the point. The headline here reads, if you can't beat them, join them. Now, check this out. It says the rapidly hold on, let me read that again. The rapidly disintegrating global financial system doesn't so much want to wipe out cryptocurrencies as it would like to replace them. With every transaction logged on a permanent, indelible blockchain ledger, crypto could flip from the privacy lover's dream to the pirate's nightmare should that ledger become public or merely fall into the government's hands. Enter central bank digital currencies, okay, CBDCs. Most global powers have been working on developing their own CBDC for years now. Let me read that part again. Most global powers have been working on developing their own CBDC for years now, their own central bank digital currencies, aware to a greater or lesser extent that fiat currency pegged to an increasingly weak dollar reserve has an expiration date. They've also received the message from supranational groups like the Bank of International Settlements, or better known as BIS, and the Financial Stability Board. Salakia, give me a second. Put my do not disturb on. All right. Then it goes on to say the BIS, Jabba the Hutt Esquire, General Manager Augustin Carstens, for an example, recently gushed about the potential CBDCs have in terms of surveillance, essentially the opposite of cryptocurrency. They will use blockchain to ensure every transaction an individual ever makes becomes part of their permanent record. Now, I want y'all to listen to this video, all right, because they're telling you guys in plain sight what they want to do. And there's an old saying: if you ever want to hide something from the public, you put it in plain sight. All right. So let's see what this guy has to say.
Our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of the general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash, and there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also, we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
You see what he said there. So basically, recap: they cannot right now, as of right now, with a cash society, they cannot control, nor can they see what people are spending. Okay. Even when you go and do your taxes and you're claiming certain things, that's as far as they can go. Okay. Because if you go over the threshold of what you're claiming, then what do you have to start bringing to the IRS or to the ATO? You have to start bringing receipts to back up everything for what you're claiming. OK, because they can't really go and see what it is you're spending and so forth. So now he just said they now have the technology to enforce. All right. The central banking system making up their own currency so that they can tell, did you use $100 bill today? Or did you use Slovakia? Not $100 bill, but in this case, because it'll be digital, they can now track and trace to see, did you spend $100 today or did you spend $50 here on this day and vice versa. All right. So let's grab the word crypto. And I went and looked it up on the etymology. And basically it means hidden, not evident or obvious. So when you put it together, cryptocurrency, okay, it's hidden currency. That's why it's called a blockchain, because you cannot, you basically can't trace to where that transaction has come from. All right. And that's really the whole scenario to why Bitcoin became popular. All right. Because it can control basically people's money to a point where there's no regulator over it. It's not backed by government. So this can open up doors of a lot of what they deem as criminal activity, the black market, the dark web, and so forth, if you get the terms that I'm using. All right. So let's get some scriptures really quick, because, you know, this is this is right in front of us. So now this is Revelations, the 13th chapter, and we're going to start. We're going to get to the point. We'll start at verse 14, and it reads, and well, actually, yeah, we'll start at verse 14, Revelations 13 and 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Now we know this beast to be Babylon the Great. OK, this beast system is backed by the Roman Empire, which is back again today under America. All right. Esau, Edom. OK, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by the sword and did live. What was that wound by the sword? Because when you go into Revelations, the 20th chapter, OK, that old serpent, the devil, Satan himself, which is Esau, Edom, that fourth beast, Roman Empire, he was wounded. OK, he was taken down. All right. Right around between, if I'm not mistaken, 12th century, 13th century. OK, And then you had the Byzantine Empire under Constantine, okay, who was a Jake, all right, and then they fell. And then when it says that he was wounded by the sword and did live, that means that they came back into power. Okay, the Romans, that old serpent, he came back into power. All right, and let's get a quick precept when we go to Revelations 20. All right, and it reads, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having a key of the bottomless pit. Now, who is that angel? It's talking about Yahweh Shah, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay, and the bottomless pit is Europe. All right, and he had a great chain in his hand. Now, watch this, verse 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Now, when you go back and you read history, okay, the 1,000 years period is talking about when during the Dark Ages, okay, because when the Roman Empire had failed, then you had so-called Negroes. They were ruling in Europe, okay. They were ruling for 1,000 years when you look up the Byzantine Empire. OK, and then what happened? OK, verse 3, it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit. OK, which is Esau, Edom. OK, the so-called white people, and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. OK, now we're in that little season. Let's jump down to verse 7, straight to the point. And when the 1,000 years expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Now, it's not talking about a spiritual Satan. It's talking about a physical Satan. There's a physical seed, a nation of people, and the elite family that plays the physical counterpart of Satan, which is Esau, Edom. Now, when it says that he was the 1,000 years expired, when you look into secular history, it's talking about how the Dark Ages, okay, because that Roman Empire, that beast system came back into power. It really started with the Greeks, Alexander the Greek, when the so-called white man came into power. After the Greeks, the Romans came in, and then what happened? The Romans fell, and then you had the Western Roman Empire, then you had the Eastern Roman Empire, you had the Byzantine Empire, and then what happened was during the Dark Ages, so-called black people were ruling. Okay, that's where you get iconoclasm for, which means that they destroy the relics and paint over the pictures because they want to cover up history on that our people were ruling. So what happened was when the so-called white man was let back out, and during the 14th century, you had what was called what? The Renaissance period, which means what? Rebirth. Rebirth from what? Meaning you're coming back into power. OK, and that's exactly what happened today. And this is the reason why you have the NATO. OK, you had the EU. OK, because if you understand the Roman structure back then, they had vassal states. OK, and today you have America sitting at top. But look at all the allies that America has. And that's why we know that America to be Babylon the Great. Now, let's go back to Revelations, the 13th chapter. OK. All right. Now it says here, verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast shall both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And we see that happening right now with this whole global, you know what. All right. I'm trying to be very careful so that this video doesn't get pulled down. OK, because now they're saying in so many different countries, if you do not drink the dirty waters, you're going to be outskirt of society. You even have politicians on the verge of giving their opinion, saying that anybody who don't drink the dirty water shouldn't live. All right. And this is that image. OK, that image is the philosophy, the way of life, following this draconian law measurements that they're giving on a global society. All right. Everything that this beast stands for in this image, you are down with the program, basically, in other words. But here's the main point. And he calls it all. both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma, okay, because that's the Greek word for M-A-R-K. I got to be careful what I say because the algorithm on YouTube, all right? But to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads, and verse 17, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the charagma or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay. Now we know because they said this is what they want to do. They want to be able to control people's transactions. Okay. And how do you do that? And this is what it's coming to. All right. The MOTB, the technology is already here. And this is what it's about. This is the end game. This is the MOTB. OK, now, if you don't believe me, there's many videos out there. Just do your research. We are living in the age of technology. OK, there was a last year when all of this went down, right around September, October, Amazon has a commercial video that you can view right now where they allow for you to get a charagma. OK, and you can go into their stores and all you have to do is scan your wrist. And then pretty much you've been charged because the money is backed into this chip. This is one of the ways they're going to take over cryptocurrency. And it's no longer going to be crypto. It's just going to be a digital currency. That's the reason why, going back to the article, what did it say? Let me see if I can grab it. I think it was at the start. They wanted to take the see if I can find it really quickly. Bear with me, Salakia. They wanted to take the crypt out of the currency. Here it is right here. Let me read this part again. It says SEC Chair Gary Gensler cited investor protection as the reason the commission should have carte blanche to take the crypto out of cryptocurrency. Now, we already looked up what crypto means. It basically means hidden or secret. So they want to take the hidden or secret out of currency. Why? Because remember, cryptocurrency is a blockchain, meaning that it's hidden. The transactions cannot be tracked or traced. So you don't know where the transaction is going to because it bounces off of so many different I forget the word they use, but it's like so many different computers at one time. OK, and you guys can look this stuff up. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research because this is real. This is what it's coming to. By the way, what's that dude's name? Spike Lee just did a commercial. OK, with one of the banks. He did a commercial a month or so ago. Trying to gas people up to invest in the digital banking society. OK, so it's here. We are here. We're at the door. All right. Let's because this is what it's coming down to. Let's grab another quick precept. All right. What do I want? Let's grab Jeremiah 30. And 7. Highlight that for y'all. It says, at last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And what's the Jacob's trouble? The tribulation that's going to come upon the whole world. OK? See if I can find that precept. Doesn't want to come up. I know it's in the Apocrypha. I think it's to try those. Oop. Oops, can't spell today. But anyway, I'll probably do another lesson on it. But this is the time that we're living in. Okay, let's see what precepts they got here. Yeah. Yeah, Deuteronomy 4:30, another great precept. When thou art in tribulation and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, meaning the days that we're in now, if thou turn to the Lord thy power, which is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and shalt be obedient unto his voice, it'll go on to say, verse 31, for the Lord thy power is merciful. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of the forefathers which he has sworn to them. Because the Heavenly Father, through his son, Yahweh Shai, is only coming back to save the elect, the remnant. That's what it's all about. Starting with the 144,000, which is 12,000 out of each of the 12 tribes, which will be the governing body under King David and Yahweh Shai. And then the rest of the large multitude who the Lord will have mercy on. Women, men, and children, also from the 12 tribes. Not from a large multitude of any other nations, because the Heavenly Father is not dealing with any other nations, okay? He's only dealing with Israel, all right? So that's all I wanted to get to. I didn't want to make this lesson too long. Once again, we're here, okay? This is what it's all about right there. That's what it's all about, the MOTB, okay? And you can see, let me go back to the article. You see it here first. U.S. regulators want the crypto out of cryptocurrency because that will help them use it to control your every move. And this is not just going to be in America, Babylon the Great. This is coming down across the whole entire planet. OK, they want to do away with the cash so they can usher in this global reset. But nothing more, nothing less. Till next time. Shalom.